You ever just play a video game and think, damn, I wish I could do that? Well, that's how I feel about Battlefront 2. There's just one problem. I'm not DICE. So in this video, I will attempt to recreate the gameplay mechanics from Star Wars.
As D-Man continues his campaign against own inability to make something of value, there are dangerous obstacles that lie in his way. Starting with the opening assault on Unity's treacherous new input system.
To start, I created a 4-way directional movement system with a capsule and hooked it up using Unity's new input system. Wait, what? You're still struggling with the input system?
And I watched them for years. They're losers.
They're just losers.
Wow, it's like 25 years old at this point. You might want to watch this. And once we got the input hooked up, we were ready to go. Battlefront 2 has some interesting mechanics. You can dash, sprint, and if you are a Jedi or Sith, you have a floaty jump. So let's start with the floaty jump. In the game, the character does not push off the ground very hard. It is more of a drift upward than anything. And on the way down, he falls down very gradually. At first, I was trying to change the overall gravity scale of the entire scene, which didn't work as he would glitch out of the map. I then kept getting weird errors for some reason, so everything normal there. But then my discovery of animation curves helped me out tremendously. For those of you who don't know, an animation curve is where you get to alter the values of floats over time and apply this to literally anything. So for my jump height, I made the character float upward, and then at the top he pauses a bit before his gradual downward fall. So after implementing this, we now have movement that looks like this. Alright, not bad, but we need some Star Wars element involved. And I'm thinking... Lightsaber. After I properly scaled the lightsaber, it then needed a blade. And I was thinking green. Green for Luke Skywalker. And so now we could finally play around and the game looks alive. But then you might be asking, wait, hey D-Man, what are the 3 dots in the bottom right corner? You didn't mention that before. No, I didn't, so strap in tight. Let's break this down. Next comes the dash mechanic. In Battlefront, you are allowed 2 to 3 dashes depending on your ability. I gave the player 3 and called it a day. And using the new input system, there's a tag you can click on to only register a button if you multi-tap. And Unity handles the rest. Look how great the new input system is. I wish there was a good tutorial on it. Oh wait, it was then time to put a player in the scene. So I went with the Robo Man, because I think it's a fitting feel for the Jedi Sith. Wait, it's a robot. Alright, so we got a few issues here. Number 1, the hands. Number 2, what the hell's going on with his body? The lightsaber looks cool though. Unfortunately, I had to scrap the robot. So we returned to the beam, but I need to set it in third person. So after we did that, we had some more issues.
Julian!
But once I got it figured out, the movement started to come together, and it actually started to look like Battlefront 2. But we do need a better character. Especially better than Robo-Man. So I got one in and started working on the animation blend. But as you can see, none of it actually works. So let's take a look. And after praying to the correct religious god, we were able to get him working. The next animation to put in is the blocking animation, when you dash. And the jumping animation when you, well, jump. So I went into Mixamo and was able to find a good dashing animation. It now looks like this. Alright, now time for the jump. Again, I went into Mixamo and I found this male dynamic pose where he's floating in the air. And that way he could just transition to this, and I think it would look good. When I was playing around with the animation, the hardest thing was that I needed to pause it in midair when he reached a certain threshold. But after a while, I was able to figure it out, and we now have a jump mechanic that looks like this. Alright, so I had to rerun through my code about 30 different times, and I finally was able to get it when he was close enough to the ground that he plays the correct animation, but technically I would have to make sure the ground is like 2 feet above because the animation isn't correctly wired, so I actually just fixed that instead, and now that I'm talking about it, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, the jump is fixed. The next step is combat. And if we take a look back over at how Battlefront does it, they have a combo system in terms of animations. They have a base swing and usually 2 unique attacks after. So I downloaded combo attacks and began to implement. I drew out this chart. So at first I'm going to get the next attack to perform, play it, and then check if the user has pressed again within a certain amount of time. And luckily the new input system can help a lot with this. Wait, you're still struggling with the new input system? There's a great way. I had a hard time getting it to work through the built-in animation system, until I used animation behavior scripts you can attach directly to animations. So after weeks of trying to replicate the Battlefront 2 movement and combat, we have this. I know there's so much more shit to do and shit that needs improvement, but this is a good base for adding abilities, smoother transitions, and different weapons. Let me know what you want to see next, whether other tutorials or videos like this. Alrighty.